People that do it, they literally just come in like this and they just go kiss on the head. It's crazy. Might have to change my undies after that one. This is the Venom Diaries, where we milk Australia's deadliest snakes for their venom to create anti-venom that saves over 300 lives every single year. G'day everyone, welcome back to Venom Diaries. Today we are up in the exotic room because I want to give you guys an update on where our exotics are at, because we got them almost 2 years ago and most of them are only tiny little juveniles when we got them, but they're growing and they're looking really good. And I put a couple up on my Instagram recently and you guys seem to really like those videos, so I thought I'd do an update. We're going to look at the juvenile king cobra because he's like literally tripled in size. The rattlesnakes are growing, the cantils are growing, the eyelash vipers are going. And I'm going to give you a look at our big female king cobra because I'm actually going to be cooling her very, very soon, getting her ready for breeding. All right, so I'm going to do a bit of a health check on her today, check her weight, her condition and so on. And then in 2 weeks time, I'm going to start dropping the temps in her enclosure, cool her right down, and then come springtime, I'm going to introduce that good looking male that's on display down in the Lost Water Reptiles, and hopefully we will get baby king cobras. So I'm going to start with the juvenile king cobra. So bear with me while I get it out because he is a little bit naughty. But yeah, you've seen up here before. I know the paper on the glass is pretty confusing to most people, but it's just so, I don't want the rattlesnakes biting the glass, and I don't want him rubbing his face on the glass either because he's really defensive because he's so little. She's much more confident, so I don't have the paper on with her. But just gonna, ooh, he's crazy defensive, this snake. Wee. So, and this, ooh, so he's actually getting ready to shed his skin. So this is a perfect opportunity because I've talked about it with you in the past about the blue oil that snakes excrete before they actually shed their skin. So Chloe's behind the camera here and I'm going to see if she can get a close up, maybe a side on Chloe, where you can see that blue pale look to the eyes. That is that oil excreting between the new skin and the old skin. So I won't touch him too much because if I do, you can actually start to, oh, you can start to peel that skin off, which I don't want to do, all right? So normally when they are like this, they are very defensive. Whoa, see how fast that, you are a naughty little snake. He's having a fair crack at the title this morning, that is for sure. Lucky I had my Weet-Bix, mate. So yeah, but when we got this snake, he was literally this long, like tiny, but he's growing very quick. And I imagine right now he's probably he's well over a metre. He'd be probably 1.2, maybe 1.3 metres in length, easily. But whoa, like he's literally not even 2 years of age. When he's full grown, this is a boy, he's going to be 5 metres in length, weighing about 10 kilo in weight. Look at that. Look at the hood. It's still so impressive, even at that size. Hands down, my favourite exotic venomous snake. And they're just so impressive, but their bites make me extremely nervous because of the amount of anti-venom involved to try and save you from a bite, because they are highly toxic and they load you up. Even a snake at this size would be seriously disastrous. Look at that, with a bite. All right, so I'm not going to push it too far today. So he'll slip out of that old skin in the next probably 24 hours or so. It's really close. And see you, mate. I'm actually going to be moving him into a new enclosure in spring. All right, so that's that fella. Now I'm going to get out one of the rattlesnakes, and this bloke's off his absolute dial. All right, so I had him out. You might have seen in that Insta video. This is the rattlesnake that struck at me, and you can see in that video on my Insta, like their fangs actually come out of the mouth. They fold forward like this, and he just come around like this, and he just struck straight up at my chest. So anything that's glowing red, because I've got heat sensory pits, that's what he's aiming for. He doesn't care where he hits. As long as he connects, that's when the serious troubles start to unfold. And the bites from these are horrific because of, ooh, see that, straight at my face. He come out so confident then, literally launched out of the enclosure at me. So I'm gonna get him up on the table here. Whoa, that was wild. Woo, man's shaking like his tail. Look at that tail, it's going flat out. So this is a boy. I can tell because of the length of that tail. So you can see the bands there, the black and white banding all throughout the tail there. It's nice and long, which makes it the male. Shorter for a female. And now he's only not even 2 years of age, but that rattler, every time he sheds, it grows a new little piece. So it's already over 2.5 inches in length. So he's growing quick. When this guy was born, he was literally that long. Like tiny little things, still super dangerous, but now they're getting thick, solid, and massive heads, and they do not muck around. I just seen there, mate, he just come full noise out of that enclosure, come near me, I'm gonna bite you. All right, so to me, I'm a potential threat. He's a younger snake, he's still nervous. When he's bigger and adult, he'd be much more confident. So what I'm doing with these snakes is I'm regularly handling them, I'm getting them used to me, because what the plan is, once they get a bit more size, we're going to start taking them down to the show pit regularly, most weekends and even through the weekdays and especially school holidays. We want to get them down there. We want to show you guys how epic these snakes. Look at him holding his head like that. So now he's really means business. He's got his head raised off the ground. He's even got a track on Chloe there. So he's just seeing that infrared. When they raise their head up like this, the rattlesnakes, they have the rattle out in front there. Their head's nice and high. So that, from that position there, he can strike to about here, all right? And those fangs will just roll forward and they just, boom, they just spear into you, all right? Really, really dangerous snake, but he's being polite. He's saying, hey mate, I'm over here, come any closer and I'm gonna ruin your day, all right? So I'm not gonna push it with him, but just look at him, would you? I am mind blown by these snakes, you know, and he's probably going to get every bit of 2 meters in length. Yeah, far out. These are wild. Oh, and you know what's happening right now, and I'm going to show you guys at the end of this episode, we're building new exhibits for our exotic venomous snakes. So we're going to go down into Lost Water Reptile. Literally, we gutted that original venom wing that had all the native venos across it because they've moved over to the Venom Center. And now we've made an exotic venomous wing, and you're going to see the exhibits are like halfway through construction at the moment. So we're going to have a geezer of that. But yeah, I think I've got 10 of these, or maybe 11 of these rattlers, and we're going to be rotating them through, using them for shows and so on. And eventually, when they're big enough, I'll breed them. We've never bred rattlesnakes, so that'll be really exciting. And we have another species coming for an import, which I won't tell you too much more on that one, but later this year, we've got a second species of rattlesnake. One thing I've had to do is change my hook size, because I don't tail these. So when I got them, I started out with this little hook here, and then I've stepped up to this hook, which is a bit bigger, but now I'm sort of questioning the size of this hook, but I think she should be right. So I'm just gonna really quiet, try and lift him up like I would a death adder, and I'm just gonna bring him over here, straight back in there. Whoa. Yeah, I'll tell you what, you know, working with exotic venos, it's like pit vipers and vipers. You know, a lapper's like all our dangerous venomous stuff in Australia, and even king cobras and mambas and so on. You know, I can grab them by the tail and I can hook them, and I sort of feel a bit more comfortable. But like these things, I'm, you know, trying to balance them and I'm trying to avoid bites because the bites are so nasty. Like I've probably said it before, I'd rather a bite from a taipan than a rattlesnake. You know, even though guys, those things are way less toxic than the taipan. The taipan's really easy to treat. Hospital, vial of anti-venom, be sick for probably 2 days, maybe 3, go home. That thing got a hold of me, bushguard in the hand. I'd be looking at probably losing multiple digits, skin grafts, 50 plus vials of anti-venom, probably a month in hospital, longer, serum sickness. It'd just drag out, you know, and then I'd just, yeah, so not that I want a venomous bite, but those things make me nervous, and so do the next ones. Again, very fast, very dangerous. think he's in his hide box. So these ones are only about a year old, and they're the Cantils. They definitely have a lot more growing to do, but they're real wild looking. He's actually got a sibling in there, so I'll close that. Really wild looking snakes, and see that tail? See, it's that light coloration there, that yellow. They actually sit that above their head. Alright, so I'm just going to try and get this fella to get a track on me. He's moving flat out. So see how his tail's wriggling? That's not the luring for a potential prey item. Some snakes actually wiggle, and alligators do this as well, and so do some crocs. They wiggle their tail in like almost like a cranky manner. And he's doing it as well to sort of make himself look bigger and more threatening, and carrying on a little bit. But yeah, that tail, they actually hold it above their head and use it like Death Adders use a lure, and they bring in birds and lizards. And as soon as they're into that strike range, this guy will just launch out. Again, he's got the heat sensory pits. His fangs at this size are still already a centimetre in length, and they just fold forward and they just spear in really dirty toxin, immobilise that prey, and then down the hatch it goes. They don't eat very often. These guys are like little landmines. They're responsible for a lot of bites each year in Central America, because they just sit there dead still. And unfortunately people stand on them in rural areas that, you know, hands on them and so on, and a little bit disastrous, and again, crazy amounts of anti-venom required to reverse the symptoms from that bite. But you can see now he's got a track on me. He's got that forked tongue going in and out. One thing I've noticed with these Central and South American pit vipers, they have really sharp heads, right? These guys have got the Bushmasters and a few other species. They've got these really sharp heads. Even the Eyelash Vipers that I'm going to get out in a sec, really pointed heads, and really big heads, all right? And they're normally short, thick, quite stocky snakes. These guys are live bearers, so like the rattlesnake, as well, and the eyelash are the same. Most of your vipers and pit vipers are live bearers. There's only a handful that lay eggs. But yeah, this guy's about 12 months of age now, and he will get to about 1 metre in length, all right? So, but yeah, he's going to be on display down in the Lost World of Reptiles, and I'll show you his exhibit very, very soon. All right, you go back in there with your brother. Behave. I'm going to switch hooks again. All right, so we got 3 eyelash vipers. This one is a high yellow individual. She is absolutely stunning. And yeah, as the name suggests, they've got literally these keeled scales above their eyes, or raised scales, I should say. Just gonna take my hook off me. She even started doing that tail wriggling then as well. Yeah, I don't know, Chloe, if you can get her on her eye, just above her eyes there, but you can see those scales. They literally stand up like that. Hence the name Eyelash Viper. They actually just split eyelash vipers up into a couple of different subspecies, but also have a go at how raised the venom glands are. Just going to grab another hook here because she's stolen that hook from me. Those big raised areas over the head there, that's all venom, right? And her fangs at her size are literally 1 inch in length, all right? And so they're arboreal. They sit sort of head height and maybe a little bit higher in the trees. They've got a coloured tail, so hers is like an orangey red sort of a colour. And again, they court a lure. They just sit there for weeks on end. They don't go down to a river and drink. They only drink when it rains. So what will happen is, when the raindrops hit her head, she channels them towards her face, and she'll literally just lap up that water coming off her lips there, or she'll even put her head onto like a big leaf, and as water's running on that, she'll drink directly off that. So they don't do much. They only feed maybe 8 to 10 times a year as an adult, maybe a bit more if they can as a juvenile, if they can get a little bit more food. Just trying to, sorry sweetie, I need to get me hook back. But you can see how arboreal she is. She's just sticking to that hook. Like, I'm trying to twist her off here. And you can see, again, Chloe, I don't know if you can get this on camera, but just in front of her eyes are those holes. they're those heat sensory pits. So that's what she's using. She's literally seeing me and Chloe in infrared right now. She's doing that tail thing, don't come near me. And yeah, like you got to imagine, like when you're working with vipers, you've got this imaginary bubble around them that you can never enter, because once they strike, there's no getting your hand out of the way. All right, just so fast. So I always just literally, I rarely tail vipers. I just hook them. You'll see some people overseas like to use grab sticks and so on. I've never really been that comfortable with grab sticks, but I feel fine hooking them. So I'll get her away, and then I'm going to check out the big female king cobra and give her a bit of a health check. You want to hop back on there for me? Thank you. In there, sweetheart. Whew. So I'm going to put the table away, give me a bit of room, because this snake is big and wild. All right, this is the big female king cobra. And yeah, I've been loading her with food for the last few months in preparation for cooling, for breeding. And you'll see she's nice and thick. Ooh. Boy. Nice and thick. And she's getting, oh, look at the size of her. Look at that hood. So, oh man, she's an impressive snake. So she's grown a little bit, definitely in size. The females don't get the same size as the boys do. So the boys get, you know, literally 5+ meters. The biggest king cobra ever recorded is 5.7 meters. Isn't that insane? It was found in, like in a confiscation in an airport in China and sent to Thailand, to where the anti-venom center is over there. And they used it for venom production until it passed away. And they have its skin and skeleton out on a wall now. I've been there to see it, and it's insane that a venomous snake can get that big. And obviously they're not commonly seen at the 5.7 meters, but certain localities, the males definitely get that 5 meter mark regularly. All right. They're found pretty well from Bali all the way to China. So they've got a huge distribution, and they just split them up. So far they've split them up into 4 subspecies. Alrighty. This girl here is like a Malaysian king cobra, and she's pretty typical for that color. Their colors do vary a lot. If you look at the Indian ones, they're like black with white bands on them. So like most species, there is a huge variation in their color and so on. Now, when it comes to breeding, it's like really scary, because these snakes will literally eat each other in the wild. You know, males will eat females, no worries. I've got a big male, he's like almost 2 meters longer than her. So when I pair them, you've got to be there to like act on it straight away. King cobras have only ever been bred twice in Australia in captivity, and it was right here at the park. I was there for the last pairings, and it was hectic. All right, but our male was very responsive, and it was fine. But yeah, this girl's never been with a male. The male I've got's never been with a female. So it's going to be very nerve-wracking for us. And normally what happens when they pair, look at her, she's getting ready to strike here. She's getting her hood wider and wider. They just sit there and they hood at each other like this until she hopefully submits and sort of lowers her hood down and lays down on the ground, and then he will come in and do his thing. But yeah, she looks fantastic. You can see how thick she is, because it's a lot for them to, like, she might lay 30 eggs, right? And they'll be about that big. And she'll build a nest like a crocodile. So she'll actually scratch up leaf litter into a huge big mound. She'll disappear into it and lay her eggs inside of that. It's really cool. They're the only snake really worldwide that builds these. Like some of the, when we bred them last time, the nest was seriously like that high and like a meter round. It was absolutely massive. And when they hatch, they literally come out of the egg and hood straight away. It's really, really cool. I'll see if I can turn her a little bit here. So she just tracks. And look at that hood. Isn't it? It's just such an impressive snake. You're not going to see me kiss this thing. All right. So people that do that usually end up getting bitten down the track somewhere. Yeah, I definitely won't be kissing this girl anytime soon. But yeah, people that do it, they literally just come in like this and they just go kiss on the head. It's crazy. Might have to change my undies after that one. I thought she was going for the old fella. Don't do that. That's not very nice. All right, but yeah, they're just that confidence. They just charge and Far out, what a snake. All right, so I'm gonna get her in because I want to show, I'm dying to show you guys these new displays. So just let me hook her here. Just nice and calm. Good girl, in there. Another thing most people don't realise is king cobras are actually arboreal, so they'll climb trees and so on, because that's what they primarily feed on. Whew. All right. So we're going to head downstairs and we are going to check out the Venom displays that are being built right now. Alrighty, so that's the entry to the Lost World of Reptile. Look at this huge crocodile mouth. So follow me as we come on in. There's probably going to be a mummy that's going to start talking here.
Welcome.
Right on cue. Yeah, the Lost World of Reptile is a pretty wild looking joint. We've got the big Sobek got up here, alligators, crocodile, Gila monsters, turtles, all sorts. And then we come through here, which is Goanna Gully. There's a big parenti in here, and have a go at the mummy up there, a goanna in amongst the cloth. Another exhibit under maintenance at the moment. But yeah, as we come around the corner here, and this was formerly our native venom wing with, you know, like brown snakes and taipans and black snakes and so on, death adders. But have a go at this, would ya? So Jake's in here. Jake, formerly head of reptiles at the Reptile Park. Some of you may remember him. He's actually the one doing this. So he still does a bit of zookeeping, but he's very passionate about building enclosures and in particular mock rocking. So Jake has literally hand carved all of this out of concrete. So he's got a business called Crete Creations?
Crete Habitats.
Crete Habitats. Yeah, that's what Jake does, and have a go at it. So he's literally hand carved all of this, and this will actually be the Western Diamondback Rattlesnake exhibit. In here will be eyelash vipers, and if you look, it's like you're in a jungle over in like Costa Rica, and you're looking through to an old Maya ruins in the background there. And then as we come through, there'll be like Cantil, and this is the other species of rattlesnake that we're getting, which I'm not telling you guys yet. I'm going to keep that one in the bag. And then this one here, have a go at this. This is like a buttress fig root, like, and the base of the tree, and that Jake literally hand carved that, and it looks like a real tree. It's crazy. But this will be for it'll be for a rhino viper and then a gaboon viper a little bit later on. So but how cool do they look? So, and the plan is from now we're going to be redoing a lot of the exhibits in the Lost World. We're going to be redoing King Cobra, the retic, all stuff. But yeah, I wanted to give you guys a bit of a look at the displays of what's going on. And I will bring you guys along when we put the snakes in for the first time into their new enclosures. But that's going to be it for this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. You know the deal, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the next episode.